Despite being in the news as the banking haven and playground of Russian billionaires, Cyprus actually offers a very interesting citizenship by investment program. In this video, I'm going to walk you through how their program works, including some recent changes, as well as all of the pros and cons. Hi, I'm Andrew Henderson. I remember speaking to someone that I was helping out about a year ago who came to me and said, Andrew, I just made a fortune on cryptocurrency. We're talking many, many tens of millions of dollars that he made. He said, money's not an object, but he says, I come from a culture where we don't waste money. His goal was to become a European Union citizen so that he could raise his kids in the EU. But he looked at Malta, which has a similar citizenship by investment program, and said, I don't want to waste such a large amount of money as a donation. And so he asked about going to Cyprus and investing money in real estate as a way of becoming a citizen there. And so very rarely do I run into someone in that situation who has the amount of money that it takes to invest in Cyprus and feels that it's worth the investment to get a Cyprus passport. But let's go through how this program works. Let's go through what Cyprus is. Cyprus is one of two European Union countries that offers so-called citizenship by investment. Up until recently, they were potentially the fastest country in the world to become a citizen of. I remember a couple of years ago talking to one of my vendors who said they got a Cypriot citizenship case done in 59 days. Now they've imposed some roadblocks, potentially under pressure from the EU. Due diligence has been strengthened. It's going to take you a little bit longer than that, but you can become a citizen within a matter of months, and you can do so without so much of the residence and time and connection requirements that Malta has. So as far as EU passports by investment go, Cyprus is certainly more straightforward and can be obtained a bit faster. Cyprus is in the European Union. They are not in the Schengen area. Not that that makes much of a difference if you have a passport, but it is an important distinction that kind of speaks to the nature of the country. Unlike Malta, and unlike most EU countries, Cyprus is also not a U.S. visa waiver program country, which means becoming a Cypriot citizen, you will still need to apply for a U.S. visa if you don't have another passport that gets you in. So these are all important qualifications. Cyprus has one of the best passports in the world. They can go to pretty much anywhere that a traditional European citizen can go, or a U.S. or Canadian citizen, Australian citizen can go. But there are one or two places, such as the U.S., where they can't. So to me, that makes the passport slightly less valuable. But I like the fact that because they don't have those connections, they have been allowed to be a bit more liberal. What's involved to become Cypriot? Well, as with anything in the European Union, there's always a couple different paths. I'm going to give you the most straightforward path. Basically, you need to invest 2 million euros in real estate. And you need to maintain that real estate for 5 years. Okay? It used to be 3 years, but now it's 5. They recently changed it. In addition, you are supposed to maintain a personal home. This speaks to what the EU wants on connection to the country. You need a personal home of €500,000. You can't sell that. It's funny because I've been talking to friends of mine who are in the industry, who are doing high-level citizenship work, and that we work with from time to time, and they would always say, like, well, are there really adequate measures in place to make sure that you can't sell that property? What would happen if you did? They would rescind your citizenship. That's not entirely clear. But basically, 2 million euros in investment, 500,000 that you're going to keep for life. What they recently changed was they said if you're going to buy resale property, rather than buying property from a developer, you need to spend 2.5 million euros. So one thing to consider with any EU country is that there is VAT on certain types of real estate. In the case of Cyprus, there are certain reductions, but that's definitely something that you're going to want to factor in, because if you have to pay VAT on real estate, that's going to add a lot of money, which is usually not going to be recoupable. It's going to be kind of essentially a donation. So we're in the low to mid 7 figures. What else is required? Well, they recently went the route that Malta and Montenegro have decided to go, which is they've said, you know what, just the investment's not enough for us. We would also like you to make 2 donations totaling 150,000 euros. One, half of that money, 75,000 euros, will go to fund research efforts that we're doing. There is a way around that where you can invest in companies that are doing that. That's a bit unclear to me at this point how that would work. And then there's a 75,000 euro donation that will go towards building affordable housing. So in addition to investing between 2 and 2.5 million euros, you're going to basically forfeit 150,000 euros plus any fees to get the passport. So that's how it works in a nutshell. Now, what is Cyprus? The pros, it is a relatively tax-friendly place for certain types of activities. It has been described as one of the tax havens within the European Union. Certainly, Cyprus as a jurisdiction for banking and for incorporating has lost some of its luster. I know people who have done it, haven't been thrilled with it. So what I would look at personally is just having the Cypriot passport and having the ability to settle wherever you want in the EU. Cyprus is certainly a very beautiful place. Spent some time there about a year ago and like it. Think it's a nice place to have a home and maybe do your summers there. Or if you live somewhere that's further north, maybe you do your winters there. We celebrated New Year's Eve and it was pretty reasonable weather considering the time of year. I don't believe that I'd be moving to Cyprus full time, but that's certainly your consideration to make. But the big pro is the EU membership and the high quality of the passport. Is it much better than what you'd get in a lower priced citizenship by investment jurisdiction? Again, my approach is that of a Westerner. I don't necessarily equate success with being an EU citizen. I had one of the best passports in the world and I walked away from it. And so do I need to have a Cyprus passport at a far higher price tag than what I would get in one of the better Caribbean jurisdictions, for example? That's a decision that only you can make. And certainly, unlike these other countries, such as Malta, you get to actually make an investment. The challenge is Cyprus is not a huge country. I mean, this is a country where citizenship by investment has changed the course of the country. It is responsible for a decent share of the economy. It is not a drop in the bucket. And so you've got a lot of people who've been buying up real estate, primarily in Limassol. It's one of the most developed marinas now in all of Europe and really in all of the world because of all these citizenship by investment projects. And so there's not really a huge domestic economy to support all of this. And so what happens if the EU comes in and encourages Cyprus to shut this down? Where is the investment going to come from after this, at least at this level? I think Cyprus is a great country. I think it's good for a number of purposes. But the concern is it really an investment? Are you really escaping the donation if certain factors could reduce the value of the real estate that you own over the course of the next 5 years? That's a risk assessment that you'll need to make. But if you are the 6 or 7 or 8 figure entrepreneur who comes from the Western countries, who are the people that I help, I'm not really sure that shelling out this kind of money is really worth it. I think that the opportunity cost alone probably far surpasses what you could do somewhere else. And I think that building a portfolio of passports, along with possibly a European Union residence by investment at a far lower price point, would give you a belt and suspenders approach and render Cyprus citizenship by investment unnecessary. That said, if you have the high net worth to do this where it doesn't affect things, it's certainly worth considering. Hi, I'm Andrew Henderson from Nomad Capitalist. I wrote this book, which you can find on Amazon, to distill a lot of the stuff we talk about in these videos and a lot of the stuff I've learned over the last decade plus traveling all around the world, teaching you about how to legally reduce your taxes, build your personal freedom, and create wealth faster. Definitely get a copy of this book if you want to learn more. Now, if you want to watch more videos, make sure you subscribe to our channel and make sure you click the notifications bell so you never miss one of our new videos with more tips on how to go where you're treated best. And if you're already a 6 or 7 figure entrepreneur and you'd like to put these strategies in place for yourself, go to nomadcapitalist.com and learn about how I can help you.